We will. We'll have other conversations. I do want to thank the president for sitting down with me today for that exclusive interview. Really interesting stuff. We just learned a whole lot, so it's a lot to unpack. Here with me with reaction to what you just heard, we have Trump 2016 Deputy Campaign Manager David Bossie, and we have Liberal commentator Jason Nichols. Good to see you both. Jason.
Thank you, Trish.
We just heard from the president, so I'm going to give the floor to you. What's your reaction to some of what he said regarding both midterms in 2020?
Well, he said a whole lot of things, having to do with Mueller, the Mueller investigation, that it was Democrats, and we know that Mueller and Comey and Rosenstein, they're all Republicans. So I think, in terms of the election, I think he's right there, Michael.
I don't understand. I think his point was that President Obama didn't actually pursue the leads that he had been given, Jason, into the atrocities that Russia was doing in terms of trying to manipulate things on the margin.
So, Trish, I agree that President Obama should have done more in that regard. That's what he was saying. So I totally agree with that. I disagree that he's been so tough on Russia. I think
really? Have you seen the sanctions?
He continually throws his when he says, oh, maybe there was meddling, he continually is throwing the intelligence community under the bus. He hasn't learned any lessons since Helsinki. That's really disappointing. I think he should trust his intelligence community, who has proven that there was Russian meddling.
Look, I would beg to differ, but I'm going to let David tackle that because, by the way, this administration has come out with a report. They have a lot of concern, not just about Russia, but also China, specifically China, and what China might be trying to do to try and manipulate public opinion. But I'll go to you right now, David.
Let me just go to Jason's point, and I understand what he's saying, but his intelligence community, the president's intelligence community, is the same intelligence community that brought forth the fake Russian dossier and put it forward so that the American people would get it. James Comey, a bad actor in this entire episode, used his opportunity to meet with the president to undermine the president's credibility, but with this fake dossier that was paid for by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. So that's one of the reasons why this president talks the way he does about things, because he feels he understands what's going on with Putin. It is a good thing to have a good relationship with Vladimir Putin, but Vladimir Putin understands strength. And that's what this president is exerting around the world, no matter where it is. Vladimir Putin is paying attention to Donald Trump's strength and America First agenda.
David, the only thing that I will say to that is when the president said that he thought that Vladimir Putin would rather have Hillary Clinton, Vladimir Putin himself said he was happy that Donald Trump won, that he wanted Donald Trump to win. So there's no question who Vladimir Putin would rather face or rather deal with. And he was clearly outwitted in Helsinki, and I think that the president needs to take that on the chin.
I think the big takeaway, though, however, Jason, I'll just fill you in on that interview that we just watched, was that he had a one-on-one meeting with Vladimir Putin, and in that meeting, he was very explicit, as you heard him say right there on camera, saying, "Listen, you guys cannot do this." And that was a message that he delivered.
He wouldn't even acknowledge it, Trish. That was the problem. He was like, if you meddled, as if our FBI and our intelligence community hasn't already known.
I'm going to send it over to David again. But again, and I don't want to argue his points here, but I'm just trying to play devil's advocate because I think he feels, and you heard him say this in that interview, David, he feels like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? Because
let me just say this.
You're tough on one person, and they worry that you're heading straight towards World War III. I'm thinking Kim Jong-un. And then if you're too easy on the other, go ahead.
Obama's head, Secretary of Homeland Security, is somebody who called out both the North Koreans, the Russians, the Chinese, and other bad actors around the world who were trying to meddle in our elections leading up to 2016's election. So this is not news that outside entities, that foreign powers are trying to do that. What we need to do is a better job to stop them. And I blame one person. Barack Obama for failing to protect the American electorate from an intrusion by any outside force. And I will hold this president, because I believe this president's doing more than Barack Obama ever did. And Kristen Nielsen, his Secretary of Homeland Security, and the FBI and the DOJ are taking this very seriously. And I'm hopeful in this midterms we'll see less of it. In 2020, in the reelect, we'll see hardly any at all.
Any predictions before we go, Jason, on who the president thinks is actually going to be nominated by the Democratic Party?
I think he's expecting Joe Biden. I think he's been spending a lot of time in Pennsylvania because he expects Joe Biden to be his opponent. Joe Biden is obviously from Pennsylvania and the Pennsylvania area. So I think that's one of the reasons why he's been talking about Barletta, who has no chance in his election, why he's been doing that. I think he thinks that Joe Biden is the guy he's going to face.
You know, I hope it's Michael Avenatti, because he's just such a two-bit ambulance chaser. He's a two-bit ambulance chaser, and he's going to have to pay. Look, the GoFundMe account that had all that money in it for Stormy Daniels, all that money, all those donors are going to be paying Donald Trump.
I got to leave it there, guys. It's good to see you both. David, Jason, thank you so much.